Hello, hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining us for this HashiCorp user group for the DFW uh, for the end of the month here. We do these every last Thursday of the month. So please feel free to join us. And I announce these on the meetup. So just go to our meetup for DFW HashiCorp user group and you will find the meetup there. What we try to do is once a month, on the fourth Thursday of the month, is have somebody from HashiCorp or speaker or an SE come and speak to us. Also, if you would like to present or share some your experiences using HashiCorp products, please reach out to me, and we will try to get you set up so that you too can present and share your experiences. Today, we're going to do a presentation we're getting from Celine Valentine. She's an SE at HashiCorp, and she will be talking to us today about how to standardize secure remote access. So go ahead, Celine, take it away, and thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you coming to talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Wences. Hi, everyone. I'm Sylvie Valentine, Solutions Engineer at HashiCorp. I think I came here once before talking about the latest releases after Hashi Days. So during that time, I was quickly mentioning, all of those product, releases for Terraform, Vault, and Boundary. So today we specifically talk about Boundary, all the exciting features. And Boundary is very new, the newest product in HashiCorp tech stack, but it's very useful because it helps people like remote employees access remotely through this identity-based you know um, um, methods. So it's very secure. So from zero trust perspective. So this slide I used when I was preparing for a demo, and just in general, kind of like Acme. Think about the scenario where their new company, the gaming company, and they just have a lot of issues with their current, tools to get their employees get to different, remote servers systems. And so I was trying to make this as a mock demo. So I really think it actually showcased the common use cases for Boundary. So I like to share that. You might see that something kind of like, oh, how does it apply to me? So I will skip those things that I only like feel like it is applicable to those demo calls. But for today, I will only talk about those key features and then also give you a quick demo. All right, so let's get started. So uh, boundary architecture, I think, is very important to understand a little bit, and common use cases, and we can do Q&A as well. So let's ignore those other parts, where is only served for my mock demo calls. All right. So this is identity-based secure remote access. So Boundary is your key to a more streamlined and secure approach to remote access management. Think of it as your identity-aware proxy, purpose-built to simplify and enhance least privilege access to your cloud infrastructure. So this is similar to what you've heard about, kind of like PAM solution, um, but that's kind of like similar approach, but this is kind of like people often called modern PAM solution, because the old traditional PAM solution, it doesn't really have this capability of multi-cloud implementation. So I will talk more about that. With Boundary, you can seamlessly connect users and efficiently manage access across any environment from on-prem to cloud. So ensuring your organization's security and compliance needs are met. So let's talk about those challenges we face with traditional remote access management. So typically users connect to a VPN, then use a SSH bastion or jump box to go through firewall and finally access their desired host or service. This may sound very familiar to some of you, right? You might use it every day like that way. So there are some issues with this workflow. So onboarding, offboarding employees manually is time consuming and prone to errors. Using a VPN increases attack surface by exposing the entire network to users. Firewalls must be placed in front of those target hosts, but they operate on IP and port identities, which doesn't scale in dynamic infrastructures, right? So finally, users often obtain static credentials, which increase the risk of credential sprawl and security breaches. So in other words, you have this firewall, but it's only good if everything is static IP. But now everything changed. Everything is up and down dynamic things in the cloud. So how can you address this kind of problem? So imagine HashiCorp Boundary as the modern equivalent of your traditional jump box, but with a powerful twist. So in this updated workflow, Boundary acts as your central gateway, seamlessly connecting users to their resources and simplifying remote access management and enhancing security. So as you can see here, Boundary brings a suite of key benefits to your organization in general, right? So when we checkbox everything, including it's getting easier for onboarding your new folks, right? Effortlessly integrate new team members and any resources into your infrastructure. And it creates that stable configuration and maintain a consistent and stable environment even as your infrastructure scales and changes. And for private network, it keeps your network secure by only exposing what's necessary to users. So if they are getting into that network, for their role and permission, they can only access to that thing. Credential security, so it enhances security by ensuring credentials are never exposed to end users. So then I will later talk about passwordless. That's related to this feature. So let's talk about the core capabilities of HashiCorp Boundary. So passwordless authentication. Boundary ensures secure access with just-in-time authentication, bolstering security. Automated service discovery. Boundary automatically finds and configures access to resources as they are provisioned, reducing manual effort and maintaining consistency. So the last one is granular session visibility. So with detailed session logs, Boundary provides real-time insights into who accessed what, when, and how access was terminated. So everything in general is identity-based, very secure. So let's explore how Boundary works. So right now, what you see is those are the targets. So let me use this click through one at a time to explain how it works. Okay. So you have this user right here try to get into this whatever the remote system, like Linux, or you want to do, RDP, or Postgres, or Kubernetes, all of that. And so those targets, it could be anything that you can think of in the private network. And so if for boundary, you have this boundary controller, and then you have this boundary client. And another one is going to be a boundary worker. So those are the three components. So HashiCorp, so when you talk about the boundary, we talk about three components. Sorry, let me go back a little bit right here. So boundary cluster comprise this control plane and worker nodes along with the boundary client. So the boundary client available as for CLI or desktop, which I will show you later, allow user to authenticate with boundary controllers and connect to targets through boundary workers. So the boundary controller serves as a central control plane, storing configuration data and managing communication between client workers and external integrations. Okay, and the worker nodes act as secure TCP proxies, enabling the forwarding of TCP traffic for service like SSH, RDP, and databases. All of this traffic is secure with the mutual TLS, ensuring encrypted, authenticated communication. So this safeguards against security threats like man-in-the-middle attacks, guaranteeing security of data transmission between users and target services. So I prematurely, showed you this arrows here. But anyway, so after we look at those three components, let me explain this in terms of deployment. So there are two options. So when we talk about HCP boundary, it means HashiCorp manages the control plane here, and the worker nodes. So right here. And choose this if you want to eliminate deployment complexity and let HashiCorp handle everything like provisioning, configuration, and scaling of controllers and workers. So if you want more flexibility, you might be more interested in boundary enterprise. So organizations can self-manage boundary workers, allowing secure connections to private endpoints without exposing networks. So it's very common among those like large enterprise customers. It's a managed service with added benefit of flexibility and lightweight worker nodes that eliminate the need for on-target agents. And this proxy-based model offers an extra layer of security. So for example, you can configure data center firewalls to allow access only through boundary workers and maintaining your existing access posture. Somebody asked, are clients agentless or do you need to install something? Good question. So yes, client, so usually that's why when we talk about lightweight, it's boundary worker is agentless. So you don't have to install anything. It's a very lightweight binary by Go. So you don't need to install. It just runs whenever you try to connect between your target and the client. On the client side, all you need to worry about is to install the boundary either through your CLI or a desktop, which I will show you later. Yeah, so in terms of workers, no, you don't need to worry about any installation. Yeah, it's agentless, which is very unique among this, this landscape. When we talk about who else is doing similar things, besides boundary. Boundary is the only one who's offering the agentless option right now, as far as I know. All right, so so anyway, so let's move on to the next one. I already show you, but this is kind of like we try to show you HashiCorp. This is the HCP boundary option versus the other one is self-managed. Okay, so let's explore key use cases that usually it's kind of like a commonly asked or common use cases, right? So we have this end-to-end access. Boundary ensures end users can seamlessly access various resources. So when we talk about the previous one, Linux, Windows hosts or database, Kubernetes, clusters, and more, without complexity of managing separate credentials. So this is control plane handles everything. And it does secure secrets management. So Boundary offers native integration with HashiCorp Vault. It provides just-in-time credentials for privileged secret user and full auditability. So it also includes the built-in credential storage for simpler secrets management. So kind of like a static, password, username, that kind of static credential storage. And this use cases eliminate the need for end users to juggle multiple credentials and provide platform operators with central control over credentials distribution, and it reduces this kind of credential sprawl everywhere and the risk of exposure. And so this is very common if when we talk about Boundary itself is powerful, but if you want to combine that with Vault, it's even more powerful because Vault is very commonly used as a secrets brokering agent. So with that Vault backed capability, it allows a lot of those things kind of like passwordless, which is very handy for system admins. So so when we talk about this, static credentials are no longer sufficient in today's world, right? Security is paramount. So if your goal is to create this seamless password experience to your end users, then let's talk about this passwordless solution. So Boundary it automatically retrieves its credentials from a credential store and securely pass them to a worker for authentication with the target machine. So crucially, these credentials remain hidden from end users, eliminates the risk of unauthorized access. So this diagram just illustrates this process. So you have Boundary injects SSH certificates from Vault into target system without exposing password. So today, in the demo, I can show you that a little bit more. But basically, just let Vault handles all of those certificates, and Boundary just let you just quickly ask you a certain target identifier, those kind of information, and then it will let you in if you're the right person to get in. So this one is a kind of interesting, right? When we talk about scaling and lightweight, why this worker is so powerful, is so smart. So let's talk about this auto load balancing workers. So in today's world, production environments are very scalable, especially if your organization is having this kind of kind of like dynamic infrastructure, scaling infrastructure up and down on a daily basis, right? So Boundary architecture is designed for seamless scalability. So our secret sauce is the lightweight agentless workers. These workers are agile and flexible, requiring no complex configurations or external load balancing devices. So you can effortlessly scale up as number of users grows. Importantly, these lightweight workers enable user sessions to be automatically balanced across healthy instances. So this means user access remains constant even in the event of worker failures, requiring minimal administrative intervention. So the beauty of this approach is not just the scalability, but also the cost savings, as it eliminates the need for expensive external load balancers and simplifies your architecture and reduces latency. So in other words, you don't need to pay a third party to manage this, load balancing. And so this is something, I hope I answer your question. But yeah, feel free to ask me questions during this time. Winston, did I miss any questions so far?
No, we're good. Thank you. I'm monitoring that, so if something comes up, I'll let you know.
Sure. All right. And then please keep me check with the time too. Sometimes, I just getting kind of over time. So this one is about multi-hop, another very unique feature, for Boundary that you don't see any other, vendors are doing this. So let's talk about this common challenge. So providing this access to infrastructure without exposing private network. How do you do that? So many of us deal with complex network structures that require traffic to jump through multiple enclaves to reach target systems. With Boundary, we've got a solution. So it's called multi-hop sessions. So this session chain together two or more workers across those intricate networks, forming a seamless connection between remote users and target systems, even in the environments with strict outbound only policies. So imagine this as a relay race. We have two types of workers, the ingress workers and egress workers. So ingress is for accessible for end users, either through VPN or a public IP address. So in this case, it's ingress is right here. So it's closer to the end user. And the egress worker has network access to the target and initiate a connection to ingress. In other words, they can communicate, but you can have a lot more than just one. So then they can create the chain. So here's a kicker. In this example, we can use HTTP worker as an ingress worker right here, while self-managing egress worker creates this outbound connection. This means no VPN or public IP addresses are needed, right? In this case, we don't need any other tools for that communication. The result is that Boundary adapts to diverse topologies, respecting your network complexity and security policies. You will reduce operational costs, simplify secure access, and never compromise your network integrity. So here is about another, discovery. So this one is kind of more kind of for dynamic service catalog. So if your company is, say, organization has hundreds of VMs, for example, managing those host resources manually is just is just almost impossible, right? Not only is it laborious, but also prone to errors, and especially in this dynamic environments. So Boundary Dynamic Host Catalog simplifies this process by automatically adding AWS EC2 and Azure VMs to the catalog based on tagging. Administrators can select hosts using AWS or Azure tagging capabilities, and Boundary handles the rest. So the benefits are very clear. So it will reduce management overhead, eliminates the need for a manual catalog maintenance at scale, error prevention. So you can stop doing the repetitive and error-prone tasks associated with the kind of managing numerous hosts and IP addresses. So for this one is really exciting because it was, like a very common ask among customers. It's very, very common for companies to have this kind of session recording capabilities. And so during the Hashi Day, we launched this new feature. So some organizations, they, for example, they have very stringent internal compliance requirements to protect their data security, whether it's internal or for your customer private security, information. So the highlight here is this session recording. It's a game changer for bolstering security and maintaining control over your infrastructure. So session recording equips you with tools needed to respond swiftly to security incidents, investigate breaches, and meet compliance requirements. Okay, did I miss any questions here? So far, so good?
No, so far so good. Thank you.
All right. Approvals, and this one is a common use case too, because it's kind of practical, and because many organizations, they have this common challenge involved with this manual effort for account creation, configuration, and removal. So especially say if your organization has a lot of contractors working on different projects, here it can streamline things, especially for short-term users. So here's where Boundary brings efficiency to the table. So through seamless integration with Indent, we automate this approval workflow when users request just-in-time access to Boundary. So this request can be initiated through familiar tools like Slack, ServiceNow, or PagerDuty, or even email. The managers provide this kind of swift approvals and set access limits right away. So the result is you have this effortless management of temporary user access, reducing manual tasks and ensuring automatic revocation whenever you need it. All right, so let me check on my demo environment, and let me see if it's ready to go. Okay, so let me quickly see. Okay, it seems like it has enough things for me to run. All right, so let me share the screen again. Okay, so in this case, I will stop sharing and then share in different tabs. Okay, so let's see. Vincent, is it possible to share the whole desktop? Is it possible?
Yes. So just if you want to just go to present and then go to share and then share the
okay.
desktop.
Yes. Okay, so this would be the screen one. Okay. Can you guys see here? Right here? Okay.
Yep, it's good. It's up.
Yeah.
I see it.
Okay. Very good. So this is my Boundary demo right here. So Oh, I want to also show you the Terraform because we're all Terraform fan. So the fun thing about this whole thing, demo itself, like setting up this demo environment is kind of really lengthy. So the power of using Terraform is, you put the code right there, kind of infrastructure as code, and you run CLI and let it do the Terraform init and spin up the whole environment. So what I had was I didn't do any of this manually. So the code itself in my Terraform code, it actually automatically um, create the project. This project's name is Boundary Demo, and automatically it creates those 3 workspaces. And after it creates, I went to my CLI for, because under that demo, the repo, there are different directories. So I went to individual directory through CLI. I kind of kick it to start. So I let it run like Terraform init for this demo init, and it applied. As you can see, is from CLI. So it gave me those outputs like, for example, I need it for other things, right? Like for boundary, different auth methods, ID, stuff like that. But it creates all of those resources. And the same thing for the other 2, you know, workspaces. It seems like this one, it has some errors here too, but it didn't go through the whole thing. I think it has something to do with the timeout for spinning up this worker. Remember when we talk about the ingress and egress? So this is for egress. Something there, it didn't go through the whole way, but it's okay. I can just give you a tour, and then if we run out of time, I will show you next time. Today definitely kind of time crunch that I didn't have time to fix it. So right here, when we go to HashiCorp right here, what happened is, say Terraform did everything, spun up all of those clusters, including the Vault cluster. I can show you right here. This is a HashiCorp. Basically, HashiCorp inside, you have all kinds of products. Basically, mine has Boundary and also Vault, right? So for this demo, I let Terraform create everything. So one cluster for Boundary and one cluster for Vault. And then when I go to Boundary cluster, it will show you this is already ready to go. So this one is right away, they will show you, okay, the cluster URL right there, and you can use it to log into your Boundary client. Remember those 3 components? And then let's go to the admin. This is a very common use case where you get this ready and admin needs to set some things up. Okay, so then as an admin, you go into this UI and say that Terraform also created all different organizations. And so you can go in there and check. So for example, different teams like developers, IT, and this is called platform infrastructure engineer org. They have different permissions and they have different roles, okay? And then they have different IDs. So it's all pre-made from Terraform. That's why it's really, really powerful. And the thing it was just using this Terraform. You have this registry, and you can just put all of those boundary provider, the resource block and all of those code right there, and so it will run it for you and create all those boundary resources for you. So after that, you can take a look at different project, also pre-made, right? You just give that, parameters, what are the things you want to create, and Terraform will do. So after that, individually in the project, it also has, roles and groups. All of those things are created. Credentials, storage. This is where when we talk about, the simple static, user password, that kind of thing, you can use Foundry to store. But if you want to do something more dynamic, Vault is a better place to do that. And then you also have like each project has different host catalog. Remember, those are the things that we're talking about. If you have, say, 1,000 of them, how can you keep them organized? Through tagging. There are a lot of those tagging you can do, and then each one has an identifier like ID you can easily grab. And then this is where the targets come to handy. So basically, for in this Pi project, so platform team, they really want to access to SSH target, and also they want to get into Kubernetes. So that's why those two are created. And within here, they also have, this is auto, created, but this also give you topology, like, okay, do we have, how many egress workers, how many, ingress? So this actually is trying to give you this overview. If you have like a multi-hop, like multiple like enclaves, it will show you differently. This is just a simple case. And then within the host, you also have broker. So this one, you can even add more credentials. And session here, if you have more sessions, it will refresh, and something are active, something are canceled. It will show you right there. Yeah, pretty much that's the overview of that. And then you can change your scope to global, to individual org. And admin here, you can actually change the password and things like that. Okay, so let's take a look. We're still on time, right? Okay, let me.
Yeah, we have 18 minutes. Keep going. Thank you.
Okay, a few more minutes, right? Yes. Okay. So I want to show you first, when you try to get to Boundary, the client, you can, as user, you can download this desktop. So when you open it, it will show you very similar to that UI there. But this is the admin. Okay, so let me see if it's open. Yeah, this is that. Okay, and then what you do is the URL. Remember when we look at this cluster right here, you can just copy paste that, and then you can just get into it. Okay, admin. I already know my admin user ID and stuff. So here is the targets that I can see as an admin. So a bunch of them, right? See, today we can get into, say, the database target. So let me get my terminal here. So a little crowded here. I have too many things open at once. Okay. Oh, it's right here. Duh. Oh, it's kind of stuck. Can you guys see? Ah, okay, it's stuck. Actually, yeah, this is right here. I can clear this so you don't have to deal with that. Okay, so the first thing is let's get into boundary. So let's do boundary. So you have this authenticate boundary. Okay, so but first, let's do boundary. You have to export that boundary address. So what you do is you do this boundary address right there. But my address changed, so let's do this because I did a different demos before. Again, I apologize. I should set up this ahead of time. Just really run out of time today. But we can do this together. So what we do is grab here and then go back to my terminal. Uh-oh, sorry. I shouldn't click that hide button. Oh my dear. I think that thing is really annoying. All right. So the next one, let's do boundary authenticate boundary. During this time, let me know if you have questions. Authenticate boundary. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so exported. Oh, and then yeah, we also need to grab another thing is the auth method. So for this one is actually if you go to your boundary, you have to go back to auth method. So in this case, the auth method for us is to get in like just password, username, password, but the other way is kind of OIDC, whether it's from Ping or whatever the identity provider, you can use it. So the demo I was creating is actually Okta, but I didn't have that available, so I thought just this one is easier. So let's just do that one right there. Okay, and then so let's go back and yeah, this thing is really in my way, but I don't want to click it anymore because it's going to hide my. Okay, so I'm just going to do auth methods right there. So this is boundary authenticate password and the address and then log in my admin. But this is the thing I need to replace. Again, it's my old demo, but I'll get this. This is a new one. All right, and the other one is the URL cluster. Hopefully it's gonna work. I used to just work with my old demo. Yeah, again, this kind of thing, we have to set it up ahead of time. Okay, very good. So now it's in. So let's get into the last one is to get into a system, right? So I want to show you. I have a little note here, so I don't have to come up with this command in my head. So I just want to show you the list of all the targets. So this is a boundary target list recursive. Let's see. So basically, I should make it this bigger. Apologize. Okay, I think you can see better. And so among all of that, so as an admin, you can, easily grab those ID, scope ID or address and stuff like that. So usually the ID here is for you to grab. But say let's connect to the database. So let's use this boundary command. So boundary command is really easy to understand. So you have boundary connect, and so if this is Postgres, you're going to put it here, and then if it's for SSH, it will change to SSH, and then the other one is like RDP will change to. So basically, based on the name of the system, so it will varies. And this is the flag. It's usually easier to understand because think about all the IDs. You can actually connect based on the ID, but sometimes the ID change, right? So this way is actually easier to remember, and just by the name, and it's always matching with the ID anyway. So there are definitely different ways of getting into it. If so Oh, let's see if let's get into this one, see if it works. Again, this is my old demo, so it's not connecting, but it's okay. Again, today it has something to do with the worker, because the worker, the third workspace, if it didn't spin up properly, any connection right here is going to be 404 because the worker, the egress worker, is not created yet. So what I can show you is if it's working, it will definitely making things easier. But here is where you see the workers. So you can see workers. This is self-managed. So HCP, it has that ready to go. You don't have to spin up. This is the worker egress worker we're trying to create. If it's live, so right now it's dead, right? So there's nothing. But if it's live, it will show you last time. It will be say, 1 second, last 2 seconds ago, stuff like that. So I know from just by looking at this, it won't work. It's basically, the worker is not properly, spun up. But it's okay. I owe you guys this one, and I will show you. But say if it creates that everything, you can use the command, or you can use UI to connect. So manually you can do that as well. And then the sessions will be here. Yeah, because the workers is not there, so the sessions it won't be there. But basically, if you do like command line, fine, or you can do it here, like connect. What it does is, where's the connect button? Yeah, basically, if it has the worker working, usually it will give you kind of like a port ID number, and then you can grab it, and then just do SSH. That port number, it will get it. Okay, so it's a bummer that my worker is not alive right now. Again, I can show you guys next time, but basically I give you guys kind of like a grand tour about the structure of what's inside, but in live action, it's definitely I guys I will show you next time. Okay, but that's all. I think I can stop sharing right now and answer some questions.
Yeah, so
Open.
I do have a question. So how does this work with the integration with the other HashiCorp products? Do you have a diagram that could show how it all works together and how it's supposed to flow?
Oh,
Big picture, I guess.
yes, big picture. Yes, let me see. Yeah, all coming together, that kind of picture, right? So basically you use Terraform to create that infrastructure, all the resources, which is easy to understand. and you use Vault at the, kind of working together to give you this passwordless, credential handling. So that's working together with Vault. And then you can also use Console for service discovery. So, like the piece where you have by tagging, you can use that for Boundary alone, but you can also use Console for kind of like, because that's a cluster where you can have the UI and see all of those services. Um, like you can manage over there. So Console is for that, and Nomad is for applications. So all of those microservices, you can schedule them. So check their health and always make them kind of run the most efficient way. So that's Nomad. And right now we're working on Waypoint, kind of like for application. For deployment, making easier, for developers. So that's another solution. I will find that for you, kind of like a visual thing, huh? Everything coming together. I think, you know, uh, so far this one is about for Boundary, but maybe next time I will show you kind of like overall putting all of those tech stack together, um, in a nice way
Yep.
to present. Yeah.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you coming to speak to us today. If somebody wanted to find you, could they find you on LinkedIn or Twitter? Do you have a Twitter handle, or what's the best way to get a hold of you if people have
Oh,
questions?
oh yes. Right now I'm more active on LinkedIn, so my LinkedIn will be the URL, and my handle is just my name, Celine Valentine. Yeah.
Okay. Any closing thoughts?
I would say Boundary is really neat, really unique, in this identity-based, what do you call the modern PAM solution landscape. So lots of things, exciting things will be launched at around HashiConf Day. So it's next month. I'm not sure if you guys sign up yet, but you can attend HashiConf remotely, virtually or in person. Um, but the tickets will be available. I mean, it's already available, but I think you can still get it in the next 2 weeks. Yeah, definitely, highly recommend you attend that kind of, really, really exciting talks. There are so many great presenters there.
Right. And so is that like the 24-hour thing, or is that just a
I
couple
think,
hours?
yeah, let me share this link. It's multiple days. Yeah, HashiConf. Yeah, 2023. There you go. It's 10th through 12th. Yeah, so I will share it here. So it's in San Francisco, but there are a lot of folks, they're talking about, all kinds of products, because Nomad is new, not new, but they have new features as well. Of course, Terraform and Packer. So there are just so many exciting features, releases. Um, and then they have technical sessions, and they have social events as well. So there are a lot of things there. Definitely recommend you attend. So there are, they even have those live sessions, so you can,
Right.
yeah, do
So,
streaming.
well, I guess this is a good segue to ask people to please join the Discord. Actually, what I'm going to do probably for this HashiConf thing is we'll probably look at the keynotes and maybe we can see them together on the Discord if you guys would like or you guys are interested in it. But please join the Discord. Please provide feedback on this talk and on any other talks that we have recorded. And if you have any questions or there's anything that you want to do or like join the Discord and maybe talk about getting a certification if that's what you want to do, or if you need help or run into any issues. No, we're not a support line, but we could probably point you in the right direction on the Discord. And like I said, we have this thing that we call the office hours happy hour. So every Thursday at 4 p.m., we are on the Discord live and we can answer questions for you and help you out if you would like. So thank you so much, Celine. Really appreciate you
Welcome.
coming to talk to us. And everyone have a great evening and thanks for joining us.
You're
Goodbye. Thank you.
welcome. Bye.
Bye
Take care.
bye.
Bye.